everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the So She Slays podcast. I'm Heather.
I'm Chauncey, and today we have the most wonderful people I've ever met, one of the dopest women I've ever met, and a woman who can put on an event, live her best life all at the same time. Here is Phoebe Sherman. Please introduce yourself to the So She Slays community. We're super excited to have you.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Really just an honor to be here and to see your faces again. I know we met a couple years ago at a lovely conference, and it was great to be on a panel with you both. And yeah, I'm Phoebe Sherman. I'm the founder of Girl Gang Craft. We are a community for creatives. We were located in Oakland, California, and I recently moved to Salem, Massachusetts. We still have events and team members on the West Coast, but are also trying to build over here on the East Coast. And we host craft fairs for creatives. We have a feminist apparel line, and we host our own podcast and classes and courses to help entrepreneurs succeed.
Yes,
I love it.
And we cannot do all of that without our communities and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I feel like for today's topic, we're definitely going to answer a lot of the questions that I think I don't know about you, Phoebe, but like Chauncey and I, we are constantly asking ourselves this question about how to engage our community. What the heck does our audience want? What can we do better to serve them?
All the time.
Right. And then, and I mean, Chauncey, you know what? I even think on that panel that we were all on, that question was asked, how do we build, or how did you build an engaged community on your social platforms and even in person? Because you do Girl Gang Craft events, Phoebe.
Yeah. I feel like since the last time we did that question, that was two years ago now. So of course, I feel like all our answers have totally changed since, the pandemic and everything. But Phoebe, give us an insight. How did you build your community? Because you have actual in-person events regularly. And mind you, I still have the merchandise I bought from your event on my backpack, my work backpack. So thank you.
Okay, let me give you a little background. So I started making feminist apparel, and then I was sort of going around the craft fair world and trying to figure out how to sell my work and connecting with other creatives. And a lot of the craft fairs are expensive to participate in and also exclusive. I wasn't always getting in. And so I just wanted a space to sell my work. So I just gathered some of the creatives that I had met in the craft fair world at a cafe in Oakland. And there were 15 of us selling our work. And so that was really the beginning of Girl Gang Craft. And, I had always been a people person. I taught yoga. I was a waitress. I was always, planning our college parties. So I'm a natural gatherer of humans. And I think that just sort of happened sort of organically for me. And it's really kind of a beautiful thing because I realized it myself, when I moved here, I have to make friends and stuff and all those things. But I actually felt really sort of grounded because I had this really beautiful online community that I created almost selfishly for myself. So
no, there's nothing wrong with that because it's so hard to build friendships as an adult.
100%.
It kind of is. It's a little awkward.
It's awkward, not little. It's awkward. We all know that.
Okay,
it's so weird. So I love how you built it. You built a community selfishly for yourself, but honestly, you built a community that's so amazing that you're helping different artists, different creative fields. I want to hear more about that. Tell us more.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what was lacking is not only the space to sell, but this space to connect with other creatives. And the craft fair world was cool because we would all sort of pop out behind our booth and talk to people, talk to other creatives, but it wasn't really enough. We were there to sell. So, GGC sort of developed as this craft fair. But then through the pandemic specifically, I think we were able to sort of create community around that space. And through the lens of education. So I had been teaching branding classes in person in Oakland pre-pandemic. And then when the pandemic happened, really sort of tried to get classes online. And that sort of grew and became, we created a 6-week long course called Level Up, and that sort of became more of a community space. I had been teaching these one-off classes and realizing that I wanted to work with people in a longer capacity and to like actually be able to be like, you know, have the creative sort of lean on each other and be like, maybe I need a photographer, you're a photographer, oh, you're a graphic designer, that's great, like, can we trade? I hate shipping, like, let's talk about this, you know, whatever. And so that really gave space for creatives to connect with each other. And then that sort of gave us the idea for the membership. So we have a membership called The Click, and we want it to be sort of dismantle any negative notions about The Click. But
love it. Love it.
But it's, you know, a space for people to get together and to like actually connect with other creatives, because as an entrepreneur, you know, it's lonely out there. Not everyone gets it.
Goodness, right?
You know, yeah, there's some gatekeeping. Like, we don't even, what's an email list? Oh my God, tell me about funnels. I really don't know about Facebook ads. And so like a lot of these things we want to commiserate with other creatives about, right? And yeah, I lost my train of thought, but that's what,
well, I mean, like, you did a really good job at kind of encompassing the need for community, right? Like, I think a lot of us kind of, once we have it, we take it for granted. We don't really know how we did it. Like, I think sometimes Chauncey and I, when we get asked, and I'm sure you get this too, Phoebe, you get asked, you're like, how did you create this engaging community? And I'm like, so about that, like,
because we don't know the answer. Like, you know the answer, but then you don't know how to say it. It's just like a weird question. Like I did this, but I'm not sure it's the right answer for everyone.
Exactly.
You know? So it's always changing.
Let's talk about how Go Gang Craft created their community, and then we can kind of talk about how So She Slays did it too.
Yes, tell us, Phoebe. Tell us what happened. How did it go down? How did it go down?
So I guess like some tips to create community is really figuring out about like what your community needs and serving that. So, you know, I created craft fairs so we could sell, created education so we could, you know, teach and learn, and, you know, space for commiserating, you know. So I think it's really about tapping into, I don't know. I think community and ideal client almost go hand in hand, but like not quite, but just really getting into the shoes of what people need. And, you know, I created this business for myself because I was the target audience. I was the person who needed a place to sell, who needed community. And so I'm still that person, except maybe a few years later. So I actually have to like put myself in my shoes like a few years ago and think about what I need. But beyond that, because we're not just serving ourselves, like literally asking your community what they need. And so you can do this, like, you know, really technically, you can send out a survey. You can have polls in your stories. You can, I give surveys after every single thing we do. Like after every craft fair, you get a survey. After all of our classes, you get a survey. Everyone gets a survey, but you know, like you have to listen to what people want. And so, you know, when we get DMs or any sort of comments, you know, besides, you know, trolling and unrealistic things, you know, we're listening to that. We're listening to what people want, and we're trying to create space for that if it's aligned in what we want also and what we're able to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Chauncey can speak to this too, because we kind of did the same thing when creating So She Slays. Like we selfishly did it for ourselves. We were like, there has to be other people like us out there. And we're just going to create a space where people like us can come.
And there's people like us. So
there's
it
lots
worked
of people.
You know, I thought we just had this awkward sense of humor, but everyone has awkward sense of humor. So it makes So She Slays like an honest, like you felt like you're speaking your truth and not feeling ashamed for speaking your truth. And I think that's what, like, how you build a community. You find people who just need something to feel like they belong. And I think that's really important. And I do love, Phoebe, that you said you take surveys everywhere, because I'm a big like researcher myself. So I'm just like, what works? What doesn't work? How does this work? Like I remember like first meeting you, and I was like, your stuff is like legit. Like your whole like presentation was beautiful. And I was like, that's called research. And then like your Instagram and your social media is very like on point. I'm like, it's called trial and error. So what are things you tried that worked and didn't work out, and why? Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
loaded question. I know it's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying things all the time. I mean, especially during the pandemic. Like,
Yes.
we tried all the things. We,
Oh,
you
girl,
know,
us too. Us too.
No, look, us too. Because if we could talk about Halloween things that we didn't show you guys, you'd be like, oh my god, you didn't know because it wasn't gonna work. So yes, tell us, Phoebe, what worked with especially with the girl gang craft.
Yeah. So I guess the big one is that we had a digital summit. I'm not sure this is entirely public knowledge, but I hated it. I really did not like it, and I will not do it again. I will not do a digital summit. And like a lot of people are doing digital summits. Like I just spoke at Adobe, and Adobe's digital summit was really cool and engaged. I mean, they're Adobe. I'm not Adobe,
but
I think people are doing it and succeeding, but I hated it. And so and I it was well received, but I think there was a disconnect because by allowing you to have like content that's available for recording, people weren't necessarily showing up live. And that's something I feed on, and I think our community feeds on, that like live interaction. We throw events. So I think that felt like something was super missing for me, and I will not, who knows what actually happened, but in this moment, I will not host another digital event. I think that was a big one for me.
Yeah, I know that a lot of times, like I'm the type of person too, where it's like, I did not want to do a digital summit. Like we thought about it for sure. But I think too, it's like when you do events, it's like, it's the people. You just want to actually be there with people doing something.
Yeah. Living off the energy.
Exactly. Other than just staring at my dang screen.
It's called Zoom fatigue. I think we've all gotten that last year. But the thing is, I don't mind doing it for work on Zoom. But for like Socially Slays, I'd rather be in person. Work, I could be a Zoom all day because I'm at home. So it's better. But for like events, I want to be like out in the open. So I understand Phoebe was like, no. No, never again.
Like I think our class, like Level Up, it works really well on Zoom, and it's really a beautiful thing because we have people from all over the US, plus someone from the Barbados, so really international. And like, how cool is that we can reach people from all over the world? And so that feels a little bit different. That feels more intimate, and people are still showing up and connecting. But the summit thing is just like a different format. But so that's the thing, right? You have to try all these things, and like maybe that seems like the same sort of thing, but it's not. And you get to like figure out how your community reacts to that, and also listen to your gut as well and see.
So how did your community react to that? Was it something that they liked, or were they like, no?
I think the community did like the online summit. I think we were all, thirsty for education and community, but I think they reacted better to other things that we've offered. And I think what made our first summit so powerful is that it was just so fun, like we got headshots, we like did photo, like you're all connecting. And I think that was missing from the digital summit, but the online class works. So it's, it's these sort of minute details. Yeah.
I think that's so true. I think like certain aspects, like we learned in Socially Slays, work for certain things. We can have the same concept, but different topics, and it works better for this and works better for that. But like, I think while building a brand and community, you have to have trial and error, especially, and figure out what works for you and your brand. But I feel like it's always ever changing, if that makes sense. Like you just can't stick to one thing, anymore. You like always change.
I think for Socially Slays too, I mean, we don't really kind of talk about behind the scenes stuff in which we've thought about or tried and failed at, or tried and it was good, but not good enough for us to try and do again. What was really worked during the pandemic for us was our Slay at Home concerts. That was awesome. That was so much fun.
Our IG lives,
artists, and our IG lives, our Slay hours. So and we've carried it over. I mean, during the pandemic when nobody could go to concerts or anything like that, like everybody at Socially Slays loves music, and we love getting to, watch performances and even indie music. So it's like, we had a few, concerts and IG live takeovers where the musicians would just go on and just perform live for our entire audience. And it was so much fun. And then also too, we kind of gave a platform for the indie artists. And then we also did our IG live every Friday. We have an IG live Slay Hour, and we interview people from all over, different backgrounds, wherever, whatever fits, the schedule and that kind of stuff, or what we think our audience would find interesting. So that's kind of carried over. The things that didn't work, I mean, we did a little bit of like a wellness retreat, which kind of worked in some classes, and then kind of didn't work at all. Like the classes that we thought would totally work didn't work at all. But out of that, the classes that did work, we were able to then offer, what's called the workshop, tips to getting employed, resumes, interviews, like all that kind of stuff. So certain things were, stemmed from things that didn't work or that only worked halfway or whatnot. So it's definitely the trial and error thing that I think all of us were talking about. It's, okay, well, this didn't work, but what are elements that seemed to work in this that our audience related to?
It's so true. It's so true, because I think like if we didn't do the wellness event, the virtual wellness event at the beginning of the year, we would never have Stephanie's workshop. That's actually performed so well. So I think like we all know like certain things happen for a reason, but I think the idea that like you learn from each mistake, like quote mistake, you learn from, if that makes sense.
Exactly. So I guess, I mean, I guess we kind of answered it a little bit as far as like, how do we know what our audience likes and dislikes? I mean, we talked about surveys. We talked about just kind of, I mean, I guess there's the analytical side of things, right?
So,
like Phoebe, do you have any others?
Did your gut tell you something?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm a big marketing geek. So like, and like self-taught, I mean, taking classes and stuff, but I didn't go, I went to school for art and feminist studies. So, I just like to like seriously like study my Instagram and see what works. Not studying it, but like, literally check in and like see, okay, that really worked. Okay, that's a topic that people are interested in. Let's dive into that. I posted something about how to say no the other day,
I saw
and like,
that.
And
it was great
because
it hit right at the same time. We needed it. Like I remember I saw that and I was like, yes, how to say no. Because I was like the most like, I'm like, how do people know? And I was like, this is perfect. You fit a trend that works, because we need to know how to say no. So I love that you are a marketing, wizard on the low. On the low.
So just sort of like watching to see like who reacts to what, and like if you can extend that. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna like start a workshop about how to say no, but that's not what I'm doing. But like, if that were to really hit a note for people, like figuring out how to integrate that or sort of move in that direction. The other thing I was gonna say is like I'm a big now that pandemic is softened or whatever, being in person at things. So like we were at Renegade this past weekend in San Francisco. My team I wasn't there. And yeah, we're selling our product, but like also it's a marketing expense and a community expense. So my team's there. We have flyers about like our gift guide that's going live for the holiday and flyers for our craft fair. And, people are they just want to know that we're there. Like literally the other creatives want to know that we exist there, that we see them, that we're chatting with them, and then we're chatting with the other customers too. And like that is invaluable. And so like how can we be in places where our already existent community exists in, but also like potential new adjacent audiences or communities? How do you tap into that in person and online? And I think that's the big question.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that there's one right way. I don't think. And I like, we kind of said this offline, but there's not a formula. I don't think like there's like a 1 + 1 = 2.
I wish it was.
But right? Wouldn't that be so much easier?
I wish it was, but yeah, it's not like a 1 + 1 formula to make marketing works, what hits or what doesn't hit. So like it really is trial and error, but like I wish it was a 1 + 1 formula, to be honest with you. It'd be so much better for everyone.
Well, and I also like, and I don't know, maybe Chauncey and Phoebe, I mean, I kind of bounce things off of Chauncey a lot as far as like, this is what I would think would be interesting to me. I mean, why not other people, right? So do you kind of do that too?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm sort of my ideal audience, I guess. So I do like check in with myself what I need, and I check in with my team. And I mean, even my partner, who like really doesn't quite know what's going on all the time, but like he sort of does. He's totally listening in right now. Sorry, babe.
There's like a
It's okay.
high happening right now.
They need to know. They need to be accountable to, like, you know, ID, but
He
you
is
don't know exactly
supportive.
everything.
That's all that counts.
That's all. Keyword support. Okay.
But like, you
support.
know, sometimes he has some great ideas, you know, and
See?
so,
He
you know,
comes in like, yes.
sometimes my mom has some great ideas, you know, talking to
Right?
other people who are like, who see what's happening and like sort of know, and then also talking to your customers because they really know.
So that kind of leads me back to the question of, you know, businesses and what we've done and what we've tried, but what are some things that we've kind of run across that businesses do that's probably not helping as far as creating an engaging community?
Whew, that's a big one.
I know, right? Heather came to play.
I think like when you're doing the hamster wheel, like when you're sort of like focusing on all like the fluff, or like all like vanity metrics, or, you know, getting caught up in like all the like little things that you think you should be doing, I think you forget about your goal and yourself and your community. And I did this the other night because I finally had a little like a bump on TikTok, and we're like doing it, and I'm like doing my content, and I got like a little distracted by the content. And then like late the other night, I was like, oh my God, we have a craft fair to throw. You know, I was like, I got distracted. And like, okay, this is also silly. I know you're in LA now. So if you go to the crab cooker in Orange County,
okay,
highly recommend. But there's a sign up there that says the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Ooh,
and I love
like
it.
That.
I love it. Yeah.
So the main thing is, okay, say it one more time.
The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
I love that. That's so cool.
Stay focused.
So
stay focused daily.
Yeah. So like, how do we like, oh my God, I should be posted on Pinterest. I should post on TikTok. Oh my God, I didn't send my email. Oh my God, I got to post.
Oh my gosh. Even you talking about that is overwhelming.
Like it gives me, I'm like thinking when you were saying that, I'm thinking in my head, what email do I need to respond back for social space inbox? Or like, did I put this article on Pinterest? I started thinking about things we have to do. And I was like, oh, the anxiety of it.
But how can you come back to serving your customer? And also, ultimately, you running a business is because you want to run a business, right? We're all running a business because we want to eventually, or if we already are not, like, we don't want to work for anyone else. So like, we are building a business because we want to. So like, how can you serve yourself and serve your customer at the same time? And if you're like working all the hours of the day and not resting, is that the dream? You know, like we are doing this business to fulfill ourselves as well. So like, how do we make sure that we're like aligned and not stressed out all the time? You know, and it's hard. There's not an easy way to do it, but like, how do we sort of ground into ourselves and like make sure that we're focused and only biting off what we can chew?
Yeah. I mean, so what I've heard in that, and what Chauncey and I go back to every single time, because here's the thing is like, we aren't like perfect. Sometimes we do stray, just like you know, Phoebe, you were just talking about how you got distracted or you went a different direction, all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, you kind of have the core value of what your company or your brand or whatever is, but sometimes you kind of, you know, you go off to one side a little bit and then you're just like, oh shoot, this isn't as working as well. Like, so I think the core thing is to come back to literally being authentic and just being truthful and who you were when you started.
Be selfless and just work on what you need to do. I think that's important.
And be gentle to yourself if you get off focus.
Yes.
Like, you know, just come back. I literally wrote that down like the other day. I was like, craft fair, main point, Q4. You know, like
write that down. Yes.
So I try to be really on top of it. Like, because when I was by myself, I could just write in my notebook and things would get done. But when you have a team, you have to like communicate what you're doing and like who everyone else is doing.
I mean, that's none of my business. But
hey, whatever you like, I love
also
it.
like to talk about that. No.
Okay.
I think the most helpful thing for me this year was a life changer. And this was when I decided to theme my days. So Monday's a CEO day, Tuesday's internal, Wednesday's creative, Thursday is community, and Friday is like financial or overflow. And that is
smart.
Changed my life.
Dope. That's really cool.
Okay. And that was given to me from Tiffany Lauren Jones initially, or it was, I heard it multiple times, but that was the time it stuck, I think. And so, but it saves my brain, because if you're switching tasks all the time, like you're not very efficient. But if you're sort of staying in the same zone, you're flowing through your tasks easier. You also know that everything gets done. So like, maybe I'm like, okay, I have to deal with like event permits, you know, and then I move it to my calendar for next Thursday. I don't have to think about it in this moment, you know, because I know that it's already on my calendar and it's going to get done for next Thursday. So it really saves my brain in all of the ways.
Ooh, okay. You might inspire me. To like,
I mean, like I was like, ooh, I like that.
And it's good, especially if you have another job too, because like, even if you're only working on, you know, your side passion for like a couple hours, like I think the most important thing is to come to the desk knowing what you're going to do that day, because otherwise we're going to sit on our phone and scroll, you know? So like, if you know what tasks you're supposed to do that day, you're going to try and do them. And like, that's going to give you direction and know that everything's accounted for.
Okay. So last question, I want to be able to leave this audience with some hardcore tips on how to build a engaging community, because it's one thing to build a community, it's another thing to build something like that people want to be a part of and talk about and engage with you and speak with you.
Well, I think it's about engaging. So like, let's talk about the digital and then IRL too. So digitally, are you commenting on people back? Are you engaging with new audiences? Are you engaging with your current audience? Are you asking people what they want? Are you listening when they tell you what they want? Are you providing some sort of interactive tools? So again, we talked about the poll feature on Instagram. You know, all the little features that they provide you in your story, like use them, just use them. You know, if you're ignoring everyone who reaches out to you, like you're not going to be super engaged. So that's digitally. And then, you know, that works across platforms, you know, on TikTok, on Pinterest, on Facebook. Are you talking back to your people? If you don't have the time to do that, can you hire someone else to do that? Can you hire a VA? Can you hire someone on your team to interact with people? Are you responding to your emails on time? And I'm not someone who's like respond to emails every second. I think it's fine to respond to an email 3 days, 4 days later. That's fine. Like have some grace with yourself. Even 5 days, even 7 days, like, you know, maybe beyond that, we don't like it so much, but like, you know, and then IRL, I tell a lot of our level uppers, you know, are you talking about your business? You know, do you have your elevator pitch ready? Could you, you know, if someone in the grocery line asks you, can you deliver your elevator pitch? If, you know, your mom's best friend asks you, can you deliver it? Because you never know who you're going to talk to. They could be your newest ideal client. They could be, you know, the brand buyer at Urban Outfitters. Like you never know. And so like, you need to be able to confidently talk about what you're offering. And that's going to attract other people to you, because, you know, that's how you find someone who's like, oh, I want to join your team, or, oh, I'm a photographer, or, you know, oh, I think that class sounds really cool. Let me sign up. So I think just like living and not living and breathing your business so much that you're not taking rest and like being a human, but like living and breathing it so you have confidence in what you're offering, and like gathering your people, you know, like just finding people. I, you know, when I started GGC, I would go to other craft fairs and literally talk to all of the artists. I would hand out my business card, and it takes like a little bit of like guts. Like, like, you know, I also used to at Dolores Park sell my uterus pins. Like just go around. And I would go around to people and be like, uterus pins, blah, blah, 10% goes to Planned Parenthood. And it takes some guts, but like people still remember me sometimes, you know, like those people remember me
like
as the Dolores Park uterus
uterus. That's adorable though. That's called a hustle, guys. That's called making a name for yourself. Okay. Because Dolores Park if you're not from like the Bay Area, like it's a big space. So like it's like the go-to scene on the weekends or weekdays, especially like the summer. So like this is like called a hustle move, everyone. So please listen to Phoebe right now. She's telling you how to hustle and make a name for yourself.
But like also like that's brand recognition, right? Like even if they don't buy from you, they'll be like, oh, like that's the weird uterus girl, or like, you know, like people remember that stuff. And so like you have to like keep on talking to people about what you do and how you can help them or how they can help you. And like I know it's hard for introverts, and I'm an extrovert, so it comes a little bit easier to myself, but it's also like wrapped up in patriarchy and imposter syndrome. So we have to fight back on that. Like we need to take up space. What we're doing is valid. Let's talk about it.
Amen. I don't really think I have anything to add to those.
Oh, I have nothing to say.
I'm going to piggyback off of everything she just said.
Everything she just said, we agree.
Yeah, I was like, I think that that's exactly what it is. And please, if you did not take down notes, go ahead and
replay run that back.
Everyone should sell uterus pins at
and go to
be known as the uterus pin selling girl.
Yes, but like everything you said, like the patriarchy, imposter syndrome, like that's all true. Like, and I feel like especially in the recent years, we've all suffered for imposter syndrome. I just did it a couple days ago. I was like, am I good enough for this? And I was like, no, like I know I am, but you just forget that for a minute. So the idea that you touch on that, it's such a beautiful thing to say because we all suffer through that. So thank you.
Yes. So Phoebe, where can people find GGC, you, how
everything,
can they be a part of, you know, Girl Gang Craft?
Your community.
Yeah. So you can follow me personally at Phoebe Sherman. That's PHOEBE Sherman, SHERMAN. You can follow at Girl Gang Craft on Instagram. We're also on TikTok. If you're located in the Bay Area, we have craft fairs, December and spring, hoping to have some events on the East Coast and maybe in other cities. And if you want to take classes, we're working on a content reel class coming up. You can join our membership. There's tons of ways to get involved. I don't want to overwhelm you with all the ways to get involved. So just start by following us on Instagram and see if you're interested in what we have to serve.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited that you were able to come on the platform and, you know, give some helpful tips on how to build a community. And Slay Nation, until next time, we will see you later.